What is up, everyone? How are we all doing? Welcome to tonight's late night agenda. It is Tuesday. There's loads and loads of Liverpool news to get through. I even have a little something. I'm not going to call it an exclusive because I'm not 100% on it yet, but I do have some interesting information to talk about a little bit later on in the stream. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we finally know that Liverpool are going to do some business in this window. That's at least if we believe the many journalists and interviews that have been taking place over the past 48 hours that do seem to suggest now that the club are a little bit more confident from a financial aspect, but may still take their time in the market. Of course, we're going to go through all that in more detail a little bit later on. Welcome to everybody. Thank you to everyone that's been waiting in the chat as well. I really appreciate you guys giving up your time as always to support us here on Anfield Agenda. I'm not going to go through talking about super chats. I'm not going to talk about Flick or any of that stuff. You guys know at this point, you're all regular viewers of the show. All the links, the Flick chat and everything is in the description. So look, I'm not usually one for talking about historical events here on Anfield Agenda, but I can't let today go without just saying to everybody that it was this day back in 1892 that Liverpool played their first ever game of football. The game took place against Rotherham Town and Liverpool beat them by 7-1. I was of course about to say the Reds beat them by 7-1, but sure, we weren't red back in those days, were we? We had those blue and white shirts when we first started out, but yeah, 7-1 victory against Rotherham Town, and the rest, as they say, is history. So yeah, how time flies, ladies and gentlemen. And look, this is why we love this club so much. This is why the club is so storied and historical around the world. That period between 1892 and now has of course been filled with success. The most trophy-laden club in English football history. So there you go. And the United fans, come at me over that one because the facts speak for themselves. We've got the most trophies. Deal with it, motherfuckers. Do you know what I mean? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, from around the world. I hope you're great. I hope you're well. I hope the sun's shining. And I hope you've got some info for me, because this is a two-way street, don't forget. I come on here and I give you guys what I have, but I want it right back from you. So get your comments ready, get yourselves ready, and keep them coming into the chat. Right, transfer talk, because I know that's why we're all here. I'm not going to mess about today. I'm not going to waste your time. This is why we're here, and I thought I'd do this a little bit differently today than I normally do it. I thought that we'd have a look, one, at the likelihood, as I touched on at the start of the stream, of Liverpool dipping their toes back into the transfer market during the window, which closes on October the 5th. And as I said, during the Q&A section earlier on, Ian Doyle of the Echo had this to say with regards to Liverpool maybe doing some transfer business. There's a long way to go in the transfer window, and the nearer the deadline, the clearer the situation regarding fans coming back could be, and that could prompt a lot of movement. I'm convinced there will be more movement from LFC before the window closes. Now, regular readers of the Echo, of which I would be one, along with many other websites and many other like Liverpool.com and loads of other fantastic sites that I dig into each day when I'm trying to get the transfer rumours. I reach out to friends of mine. Thankfully, we're getting to a point as a channel now where we do have some more influential friends that we can call on from time to time with regards to this. And I got a couple of interesting emails earlier on as well. So I'm going to go through it all tonight. I'm going to lay it all on the line. And I want to have an open and frank discussion with you guys about the transfer business as the Reds look likely to do in this window. So as Ian Doyle touched on earlier on there with the Echo, it's no surprise. And I've said this all along. Go back and watch regular streams or older streams of ours in the past couple of weeks. Liverpool have been biding their time. Whether they're biding their time to try and save money on Thiago, we'll wait and see. But the real interesting fact here is that things are starting to become clearer. We know potentially when fans could be starting to be introduced back into stadiums. The club have a better idea now of the revenue stream that's going to be coming in from the sale of the Nike shirts. Obviously, we know that Liverpool get 20% of them. And we know that we get the full prize money, obviously, from the Premier League last season. So the club's finances are becoming a bit clearer. It was always going to be a case that some people believed it was a sell to buy summer, and sometimes that could be the case, but it's not the whole story. So what I wanted to do tonight was go through the rumours, discuss the possibilities of when it might happen and how it might happen. A little bit different to me just coming on here and saying I read this, this and this. I thought today we'd have a more in-depth look at things. So if we want to start off with Thiago, he's probably the biggest one. And thank you, Sharon Pete Kang, thank you very much for saying great show, mate. Really appreciate that. Look, let's start about Thiago. Thiago's the story that you're all probably most interested in. It is the saga of this summer from a Liverpool perspective. It depends which way you look at this. You've got some people who are still trying to make out that Liverpool don't actually have an interest in Thiago. I've gone past believing that at this point. Liverpool are interested in Thiago. We know United in the background are making some murmurings around Thiago as well, but it is clear as day what he wants, and it is clear as day who he wants to come to. So Many Liverpool fans are desperate for us to get the deal over the line, and here's what Chelsea's Mason Mount had to say about Thiago when he played him, because I know some Liverpool fans are saying, you know, Gini's a really good player and I don't want to lose Gini to get Thiago. I understand that. Nobody wants to lose Gini Wijnaldum. But the calibre of footballer that is potentially available for €30 million, it's just frankly too feckin' good to pass up. So here's what Mason Mount had to say. Somebody who's played against Thiago, obviously in the Champions League knockout stages. The Champions League's on another level. The games feel different. Bayern have some unbelievable world-class players. Lewandowski, Kimmich and Thiago in midfield. I just couldn't get near him. It was a big mistake. It opened my eyes. It made me realise this is the next level. This is where you need to be. And I'm determined to work hard to reach that level. See, there you go. That's the difference. Mason Mount has played against every player in the Premier League, probably at this point. He's played against some European players. Yes, he's a young player still coming through. But he's looking up to the likes of Thiago. Somebody he said he quite frankly couldn't get near on the pitch. That's what we need. That's why Liverpool are working so hard, I think, behind the scenes to get this deal done. Yes, there is a game of brinksmanship going on between Liverpool, Barcelona and Bayern Munich. Who's going to blink first? I guarantee you that blink won't come from Michael Edwards. Liverpool will hold their ground. But there is always the opportunity that if Liverpool dawdle too long on this one, that somebody else could come in and try and get it done. I have an interesting transfer gossip story to come up later on, which you guys stick around for. I promise you, you'll enjoy this one. But what do we think on Thiago? I'm convinced that Liverpool are interested. I'm convinced that talks have either started to take place or will take place very soon. I'm also convinced that Bayern Munich are going to keep dropping Thiago's name around and keep saying that the price tag is €30 million. If Liverpool don't come to the table, somebody else will, because they want, obviously, interest in Thiago, because they might want to try and get a few quid, or they might want to try and just get more interest in the player to get more money to try and perhaps start a bidding war. But the interesting thing here is it's all really in Thiago's hands. Manchester United can come in and make an offer for Thiago. Bayern Munich can accept the offer for Thiago. But if the player wants to come to Liverpool and he's willing to stand his ground, let's not forget, he's in a really good position right now, as is Gini Wijnaldum, the opposite direction. Thiago has 1 year, less than 1 year, remaining on his Bayern Munich contract. That contract usually runs out at the end of June, if my memory serves correct. So he's definitely available and he definitely wants Liverpool. It is just a case of who blinks first. Now things are starting to become a little bit clearer. Ivan Rakitic, Barcelona's midfielder, is moving to Sevilla, or has moved to Sevilla. That frees up a place in Barca's midfield, and we know that they want to pay around €25 million for Gini Wijnaldum, or at least that's the price tag that I've seen mentioned for them to get Gini Wijnaldum. So is this the merry-go-round we spoke about last night? Potentially, but I'm not here to talk about Thiago tonight, really. That's not the big story that I want to bring to the table, because there's plenty of stuff coming around about Thiago, and it will drag on a little bit longer. There's no point in me coming on here and telling you lies and telling you that it's going to happen in the next 24 hours. Not that I'm aware of, not that I've read, and not any indications that I've seen. But certainly we are interested in Thiago, and don't let anybody fool you on that one. I want to come in and see what you guys think about this before I move on to what is our big story for the night, by the way. Thiago done deal next week, said Alexander. Thiago assists the assisters. I like that. If we don't get 45 million plus for Gini, it's ridiculous. I seriously don't get selling Gini. He's been insane this season. Well, the problem being this: yes, he's in the final year of his contract, but whereas you might see other players in the final year of the contract go for a little bit more, Gini is of course heading for 30 years of age, and again he's in a very good position that come January he'd be able to sign a pre-contract to join any club outside of the UK or outside of England, I think, in the end of the season. So Gini's in a good position as well. So Liverpool are probably just trying to be pragmatic about the price that they could put on Gini if he was to move on. It's been mentioned time and time again that at this moment in time there's no plans to offer him a new contract. It baffles me that there's no plans to offer Gini a new contract. At least that's what's been put out there in the media. I love Gini, but I am willing to sacrifice Gini Wijnaldum to get Thiago, if that is the case. If that's what the club wants to do, if that's what the manager thinks is the best thing to do, then who the hell am I to think otherwise? But it is a waiting game, and we are going to have to hang off on this one. Gini played a lot more minutes than Thiago last season because of an injury, said Hex Boom. Yep, I can't deny that one. There's certainly an injury record that comes along with Thiago, but he did play, I think, 36 games or something like that. It's around the 36 game mark for Bayern Munich last season, so still joined a lot, to be fair. I'm very good, thank you for those asking, by the way, in the chat. What's this 40 mil laugh my ass off? I don't know what that's about. The only 40 mil I can think of off the top of... Oh, Genie being worth that. Yeah, no, not in the last year of his contract. We can sell all other assets and afford Thiago easily. That's why we struggle for 27 million. The problem is, and I hate saying the problem is because I'm sick of talking about money. We shouldn't be here talking about nickel and diming as a football club. We're beyond that at this point. We're too big to be talking about that. But there is no doubt that we are looking to save a few quid where possible. That's the Liverpool way, whether we like it or not. It is FSG's way that we work within our means. They're not a Roman Abramovich. They're not somebody who's going to come in and just say to Jurgen, there's 150 mil, pal, you go and work away. That's just not the way the club works, to be quite frank. Right, I'm going to talk onto the big story tonight, so get ready, settle in, because this is I won't say an exclusive for Anfield Agenda, but it's certainly something that we've been given a good bit of information on over the past 3-4 hours, and I've reached out to other people. I can't go as far as I want to go with this story because, quite frankly, I haven't been given enough solid information that I'm willing to stand over it. But for now, let's just have a little conversation around somebody who Liverpool are linked with and are going to be linked with, I think, even more over the next couple of days, and that is Patson Daka from Salzburg. You probably remember this guy from scoring a couple of goals against us in the pre-season friendly in Austria. I've got to be honest with you, and I was honest when somebody asked me this about the guy a while back, that I didn't know too much about him, but I've started to pay a lot more attention to him. And there's been a few reports about this, including one from the Boot Room, who are saying the Reds are interested, along with various other clubs, and they're tracking the progress of Patson Daka, obviously of Salzburg. We've seen the lad firsthand in the 2-2 draw. He's 21 years of age. He's a Zambian national. Managed to score an impressive 27 goals in 45 appearances for Salzburg last season. And we do know that Liverpool and Salzburg have excellent relations. Jesse Marsh, I think, mentioned that in an interview before. Liverpool obviously going to Salzburg and buying Takumi Minamino. We did seem to have done that in a very friendly manner with the club. Good relations there. The friendly took place, obviously, in Salzburg Stadium, which was great, by the way, to see some fans inside the stadium for that one, even if there was just 1,200 or so fans. I have reached out, as I've said, to people. I've like, these are people that I don't bother very often, put it that way. People who I only reach out to if I believe that there's something to a story and I want to get a take on. I've received a couple of emails today, one from a viewer and one from somebody else who claimed to have information around this deal. I'm not going to give you that information yet because I can't verify it, and I'm not coming on here to be Mr. ITK because that's not what I do. But this lad could be a more affordable alternative to the likes of Sarr, who we spoke about a lot and who we have been linked with, obviously, because of Watford's relegation, because of his availability, because of his friendship with Sadio Mane, and because, as I said, 40 million is the price that's been put on him, and he looks realistic. But Daka, you know, it's tough for me to say he could be a superstar because I'm a Johnny-come-lately with regards to Daka. I don't know too much about the guy. I've only been scrambling for information, but what I have seen and what I've been told and the reports that I've read on scouting systems and other people who've looked at Daka, and I've read as many articles as I can on this kid over the past 12 hours or so. It's been a busy day, folks. I want to know your thoughts on this kid. Have you watched much of him? Keep an eye on the situation. It's going to start coming soon, I think. I think you're going to see more and more rumours linking us to Daka. And I don't know what the price is. That's the real part I'm trying to figure out here. I've got no idea. I've got no idea what the price tag may be for this kid, or if Salzburg are even willing to do a deal this summer. But I can say that Liverpool are certainly sniffing around, along with Arsenal and some other clubs. It might be a case that it's one more year, by the way. We may track Daka for another year. I'm not sitting here saying that he's going to be the solution this summer, but we all know that we do need an attacking solution this summer. We need a defensive solution this summer, and if Gini moves on, then we of course have space in midfield to look at that Thiago situation. As I said, I'm going to park up Thiago for tonight because I don't have anything new. I don't have anything that you guys don't already know, and I'm well aware that people are getting a pain in their backside talking about the have patience stuff with Thiago. I'm getting a pain in my backside even talking about it, to be honest with you. Who, said Richard Ascombe. Right, Patson Daka, the guy who scored 2 goals against us. You might remember. The second one really impressed me, by the way. The cleverness of his run. He paused and then got across the front of Van Dijk. That showed me a lot in the brief glimpse I've seen of this kid. Salzburg, as we know, very good feeder club to other clubs around Europe. Very good club for unearthing talent. We've seen it with Takumi Minamino. We've seen it with Daka. We've seen it with Haaland. We've seen it with many other, although Haaland obviously came through the Norwegian system. What do we think about this guy? Has anybody seen a price? And as I get more information, I'm still looking at my phone now in case I get messages, because as I said, I have reached out to people on this one, and I'm just refreshing now to see if I've got any answers back. It is interesting. There are some people out there who believe he could be one of Klopp's masterstrokes if we manage to get this kid over the line. What have we got? It's reminded me of Fekir all over again, said Hex Boom. Look, Thiago, it's going to be a wait and see situation with Thiago. People might spoof you, but I'm always going to be honest with you guys and give you my honest opinion. One thing I want to just check, and I'm not asking anybody to do this, but can somebody just let me know if the super chat button is available on the stream right now? I'm only asking for a particular reason, which I'm going to explain. Our watch along for the Community Shield against Arsenal was copied by another channel, some channel I've never heard of before, who basically took the feed of our stream and put it up. So we reported that to YouTube, and for some reason that stream ended up getting demonetized, even though we reported somebody copying our content. That's the only reason I'm asking you right now, because I can't see at my end. Joanne, there you go. That answers all my questions. Thank you, Joanne. Ignore what I've just said. Right, so John Summers reckons 25 million. Is that with regards to Daka? If that's the case, that could be a fantastic piece of business. We would have the problem, of course, of the African Cup of Nations, him being a Zambian national, which again, we don't have to worry about the 2021. And I know a lot of Liverpool fans were bringing that up when we were speaking about Ismail Assar and the interest Liverpool have in him. These are the type of players I want to see us connected to. These are the type of players that when you hear the links to Saka, when you hear the links to Sarr and Daka, they make sense because they are Jurgen Klopp type players. They are pacey forwards. They're exactly what we need to put pressure on the front three that we have now. They're not the finished product. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to come on and say that they are, but they do give us a different option to perhaps Divock Origi, and don't rule out Divock Origi potentially moving on this summer, along with Shaqiri, Wilson, Grujic. You know the regular names. You've heard them all at this point. Thank you, Liz, as well, for letting me know that it is turned on. Claire said Daka is a natural goal scorer. Have we bid for Sarr? Musa said. Some people have said that we're willing to match the £40 million price tag, but I don't believe that for 1 second, nor do I believe that Liverpool have any information to suggest that Liverpool have put in an offer for Sarr. It would be a situation though where Klopp has his list and he's got an A, B, C and D, and he usually just wants to go for A and B on that list. So it could be a case that it is Daka and it is Sarr. And we always know that Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool are very good at keeping things quiet. Sometimes these transfers come completely out of the blue, like Fabinho. So maybe the Daka one could be this summer's one that comes under the radar. So keep an eye on it. Do some digging for me. I want you guys to help me out on this one and let me know what you find out. And as I get more information on it, I promise you, if I believe it's credible and if I believe it's worth sharing with you guys, I will. I get a load of spoofers and I get a load of nonsense that I never share. But there are some people who I do believe what they have to say. Although football, as I always say, can change quickly, so keep an eye on it. Bernadette, thank you for the super chat. Said the club's analysis, the biomechanics, players, kilometres covered on the pitch, fitness scans. If Genie hasn't got a good shelf life, they move on with him. There is that as well. And look, I've no idea what Genie's statistics are, whether he's pulling his weight with regards to kilometres covered on the pitch, whether his percentage of passing accuracy is correct. I'd imagine it is, because Klopp keeps giving him the nod in the big games. And look, let's be quite frank, Gini Wijnaldum has never really let us down. But we spoke last night on the stream. I forget who it was on this one. It was a journalist based out of Barcelona, Marcel something, I believe his name was. It's escaped me at this moment in time. Anyway, he came out to say that he thinks that Jurgen Klopp is right now trying to find a system that will allow him to go and get Thiago, and he suggested that that system will include Fabinho and Jordan Henderson in it too, with Thiago ahead, somebody who can be there to unlock defences. And this gentleman has said that he spoke to people who are closer to Jurgen Klopp and that that's the thinking process for Kloppo with Thiago. So I have to admit, that one surprised me a little bit. I didn't really envision Thiago being, I won't say the 10 if you want, but somebody behind the front three pulling the strings. I thought maybe he'd be doing that from a little bit deeper. I thought maybe he would be part of it too, with somebody like Keita a little bit further ahead. But there you go. JTS Productions, I think he's a United fan, said Thiago to Manchester United. They're interested, apparently, according to media speculation. I have a feeling it's more Bayern Munich's end, them trying to get Thiago's name out there. And it's simple as this. If Liverpool want Thiago, we'll get him. If we don't, then, you know, United or anybody else could come in and sort it out like they did, like Chelsea did with Timo Werner. There was no secret that Werner wanted Liverpool. There was no secret that Klopp wanted Werner. But it seems to be that Klopp was told no on that one. I think Klopp explained it to the player. There's a couple of articles out there suggested they had a phone call and Klopp made his reasoning for that transfer not taking place clear. And he's on good terms with Timo Werner. For what reason that matters, I don't know. Peter Van der Schaans, lovely to see you back, mate. I hope you're keeping well. Said Thiago means Genie won't fit in the system. Yes, potentially. But it also means that we've a place we need to free up. Now, who frees up that midfield place with, I don't know. It's looking Genie as the most obvious one. That's one thing you've heard time and time again here, is that we've 7 first-team midfielders, and if Thiago is to come in, it'll mean somebody moving on. I don't really want to dwell too much on Thiago at the minute because there is nothing there. I really want to dig into the whole Patson Daka links and your suggestions on that one, your thoughts on him as a player. Maybe we've got some people here who've watched some more European football than I have with regards to this guy, but it sounds exciting. Him and Sarr are definitely the type of players I'd be very encouraged, is the word, to see Liverpool being linked with, and they make sense. I mean, all these links to players like Adama Traore, by the way, who, you know, we hope gets well soon. You probably know he had a positive COVID test along with David Silva as well over the past 24-48 hours. Thankfully, both men seem okay. They seem to be pretty much asymptomatic, and Adama's waiting on a second test, I think. So we wish them well anyway, but it is a crazy world right now and it's moving fast, but there's no way I can see Liverpool dropping the type of money that would make Wolves sell Adama Traore in this window. Did I say Thiago a minute ago? I meant Adama. Sorry, Adama with the positive coronavirus test. Excuse me if I said something else. I'm trying to go to 100 miles an hour here and sometimes the old brain isn't in gear with the mouth, so bear with me. The Flick app is amazing, Sir Pearl, thank you very much. Everybody that has used that app sings its praises. Our family on the Flick app has grown day by day. We're up to about 250 users now on the Flick app, which is fantastic. If you don't know what it is, basically it's an app that we're going to use throughout the season. It's free to download, it's free to use. It's available in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store, or via the link in the description of the stream, and I'm sure somebody will put it into the chat now as well. It basically allows us to interact with you guys offline. So we put up polls, so saying, who do you think Klopp will sign this summer? We'll put up stuff about games. We'll have build up to games. Our post-match shows will be interacted with the Flick Chat app as well. We'll be asking you guys for your man of the match, so it'll be no longer who I give my man of the match to. You guys will be deciding who's the Anfield Agenda man of the match. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, check it out. It's completely free. There's no ads or anything on it. It's great fun to use, and anyone that's used has loved it. But look, let's keep talking about transfers anyway, because there's a load of stuff to get through tonight. Ben White, let's talk about him for a minute. Ben White, the centre-back that I've been banging on about for quite a long time. Unfortunately, it looks like the chances of getting Ben White could be dead for the time being anyway. He's today signed a new 4-year deal with Brighton and Hove Albion, which are of course his parent club. He was on loan at Leeds United for the past couple of years, but he has today signed a 4-year deal. Whether that's Brighton maybe strengthening their position, or whether we're going to see him play there and remain there, because Potter, the manager of Brighton, has certainly been singing his praises and saying that he's part of the team and he wants him to be there. Completely can understand why. He's a very good central defender. And I do want to have a conversation around the whole centre-back area, by the way, because I think that's been neglected a lot over the past couple of days. I've been guilty of that as much as anybody else, but I haven't let it go without doing some looking into it. And I will get back to the centre-back situation in 1 second, by the way. Sorry, I just want to read a few comments because I hate ignoring the chat. We should get Ismail Assar, said Musa Khan. Larouci seems to have changed his mind, said Huey. Interesting. Bit late though, you know what I mean? We do seem to have we've got that area covered now with Tsimikas coming in. Craig, have you seen the Billy Hogan article? Yes, I have, Richard. I have read that article. I will touch on Billy Hogan in a couple of minutes. I will save that one for a little bit later on. What's up with Wilson, Karius, Grujic, Shaqiri and loan for Bruce? They're all too quiet for my liking, said Krishna. Right, let's go through them one by one. Wilson, I genuinely have seen nothing with regards to interest in Wilson that's concrete. Nothing. We do know that he's available to be sold. Him and Grujic are definitely on the market if the right offer comes in. Liverpool seem to price both somewhere around the £20 million mark. Who else was on your list there? Grujic. This is one that I think Klopp is still mulling over a little bit. Hertha don't quite have the money to match the £18 million clause in the contract, but still remain interested. There's also links to AC Milan, I believe, and other clubs in Italy and Germany for Marco Grujic. I just can't see him breaking into the midfield at this moment in time, as much as I do like the kid, and I really think there's a footballer in there. If we're looking and having doubts about getting Thiago in, then I can't see a way that he manages to force himself into Liverpool's first team at this moment in time. Could be another one of these players who we let go because he's not quite there yet, but I think there is a future in Marco Grujic as a footballer at the top level. I really do. Shaqiri, just a matter of if anyone ponies up the cash. He's been saying that, you know, he's looking ahead to the new season and that, but I also know that there's been talk of his agents being hoarding him around to other clubs, seeing who's potentially looking to bring him in. I told you guys before about a report that suggested his agents were talking to Fenerbahce, I think it was, who were offering him X amount. I think it was 35 grand a week, and he wanted a little bit more. He's available, and again, somebody who I'd like to see Liverpool get off the books, if I'm being quite frank, because one, I never really thought that he was good enough. Two, he's too injury prone for my liking. And three, I don't know, maybe it's because there's so much love in the Liverpool fan base for Shaqiri that I'm a little bit confused by it. I never quite got it. I said to you guys before, I was always aware that it was worth a punt at 13 million with the Stoke relegation clause, but he's never done it for me. I know he's had a couple of little fleeting glimpses of brilliance, but we need consistency, and unfortunately with the amount of little niggly injuries Shaqiri gets, I just don't see him giving us that consistency. Right, I'm going to move on to talk about centre backs in a second, because there's some stuff I want to go through on that. Will Thiago go to United if we don't pay for him? That's not something, Sam, that I can really answer, mate. I mean, I'm not in Thiago's head. All I can tell you is that Thiago wants to come to Liverpool. That's his first preference, and he's going to hang off as long as he can to try and get that move. That's all I can tell you on that, mate. Traore is a good show, said Faisal, but mate, we just can't afford him this summer. It's as simple as that. I've seen figures for Adama Traore ranging from, as I said, 60 million up to the ridiculous 135 million. Somebody else said I love Shaqiri and I don't know why. Well, flip that, Shanzo, and that's kind of how I feel in the opposite direction. I've got nothing against Shaqiri, but I've never been able to take to him. Liverpool fans seem to be loved when they slap the Manx, but I'd sell him, said Liverpool legend. So Origi has to go also. I don't say he has to go, but let's be quite frank and have an honest conversation here. Is Divock Origi good enough to come in if Sadio Mane or Mohamed Salah or Bobby Firmino was ruled out for a few months with an injury? Is he good enough to come in there and consistently perform at the level of those guys? Or has he got the ability to get up to that level? I would say no. I would say he'll never get quite up to their level. There's a good striker in there. He could be a good number 9 for another club. I've no doubt about that. And I love Divock. I love his attitude. I love his personality. I love his directness and his determination when he comes on as a sub. He makes good impacts. But starting in the 11 just doesn't seem to be right at this moment in time at Liverpool with the way that we play. But I do think that there's a valuable player there, and I think if Liverpool are to sell him, I certainly wouldn't entertain anything less than 30 million for Divock Origi. I mean, I think he's proven himself on the world stage, scored goals in Champions League final, changed the game in Champions League semi-final, scored vital goals for Liverpool in the league. But again, can he do it on a consistent basis if we had to call on him, if one of our front three got injured? My suggestion would be, unfortunately, no, with all the love that goes around Divock. And when I say I love Divock, I love Divock Origi. The man is an absolute cult hero at Liverpool for obvious reasons. Sean Walsh said, if Thiago does come, Craig, what would your midfield be? I personally think Naby should be starting. See, that's the same with me, man. That's the exact same as me, Sean. When I read this very credible Spanish journalist, or Spanish-based journalist, saying that Jurgen Klopp's thought process was to play Fabinho, Hendo and Thiago, it confused me a little bit as well, because I think that stifled some potential creativity. As good as Fabinho is, and as much as we need a shield in front of the back four, that won't always be the case. Sometimes we are going to have teams who just sit back, and we're going to need to pile on to them. And I would have thought that maybe a Henderson, Thiago, Keita midfield would have been a preference. Hendo can of course drop back and split the back four and play as a shield if needs be as a defensive midfielder, but yeah, I'm with you, Sean. I am with you on that one, mate. It does surprise me, and Naby Keita is starting to show exactly how good he is. So him not being included in that thought process really surprised me, if I'm being honest. Coutinho will be back now, just watch, said Robert Durbin. He won't, mate. He absolutely won't. Somebody actually asked me that on the Flick Chat app earlier on. What else is there? What do you think Fabinho with Thiago, Keita and Hendo? I don't ever see us playing with a 4 midfield. I don't see us going to a 4-4-2 as an example, or a 4-4-1-1. We have midfielders that can play in a myriad of positions. That is the beauty of the players that we have. Even looking at Fabinho, we know we can play right back, we know we can play centre back. Jordan Henderson can play anywhere. Just put the lad anywhere and he'll cover the ground for you. Milner, exact same. Gini Wijnaldum, very versatile, can play in the 6, the 8, the 10. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, maybe a little bit less versatile, but can still play in a central attacking midfield role, or can perhaps play from a wider area, albeit I don't really think he does his best work from a wide area. So yeah, we do have versatility, but we need specialists. We need specialists at times, and it was very obvious to most Liverpool fans when we played against Arsenal in the Community Shield that we were lacking a little something. We lacked a little guile. Arsenal got their goal and they sat back and they soaked up a lot of what we gave to them. And even Jurgen Klopp indicated in his press conference afterwards that there was just something that wasn't quite there. Yes, we were missing Trent. Yes, we were missing Hendo. Yes, young Williams didn't get much help on that right hand side, and Aubameyang had him on toast for the goal for Arsenal. And I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans having a little pop at young Williams and saying that he's not good enough. One, it's a learning experience. Two, the kid's I think 19 years of age. And three, I'm going to stress this over and over again, that goal that Aubameyang scored, as brilliant as it was from an Arsenal perspective, it just wasn't good enough from a Liverpool perspective. He should have had help. There should have been somebody there to double up on Aubameyang. You watch every time Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane gets the ball in an attacking area, there'll be 2 or 3 opposition players on him. And Jurgen Klopp will have been absolutely fuming that there was nobody there to help Williams out. But there's always a plus side to these things. That will be a great learning process for Neco Williams. And much like Trent Alexander-Arnold before him, who was skinned a couple of times as well when he burst through on the scene, he will learn from it and he'll become a better player for it. So the calls for people to say we need a right back that he's not good enough, I think are extremely premature and extremely unfair on a young player who, like at 19 years of age, I'd probably just curl up in the ball and cry if I had a Aubameyang running at me. To be honest with you, I wouldn't have had the bottle for it. This kid does, and this kid is going to make it. He's going to be Trent's number 2, and he may even allow Trent in the future to explore a midfield role. We'll talk about that down the line. Faceless London said Agent Lallana will get us to Ben White in the end. Yeah, there is that as well. There is that one as well. Obviously Adam Lallana now, a Brighton player, he'll be, I'm sure, if Hendo gets on the old dog and bone to him and said, look mate, have a word there with Ben White, will you tell him how great life is at Liverpool, tell him how much you miss the club, how brilliant the fans are, all this stuff. We do have that for sure. Aubameyang showed what clinical finishing is all about, said Elijah John 5. Yes, he's a machine. There's no doubt about it. Aubameyang is one of the best in the game at doing what he did, and yeah, the shades of Thierry Henry about him, to be fair, with that goal. Transfer window isn't shut yet. Would love Willian, said Robert Durbin. Willian is gone, hasn't he? Didn't Willian sign a contract somewhere else, or am I imagining that, or has he still not moved on from Chelsea? I haven't kept up to date with what's going on with Willian actually, but I can understand why people like Willian. He's a very versatile player. Even at the age that he's at, there's still a good player in there and still somebody quite useful, but not somebody who we're going to be signing. Now, I did say I wanted to have a conversation, by the way, around the centre-back situation. We know we sold Dejan Lovren, and we know that he's gone to Zenit St. Petersburg, but the question remains, what do Liverpool do? Do Liverpool go out into the market and get somebody who's young like Ben White that might block the potential progression of players like Billy Cometio, Sepp Vandenberg, Keanu Hoover and Reece Williams, who by the way just signed a new deal, so congratulations to Reece on that new deal. I hope he's got a great future ahead of the club. So that's the question. What do Liverpool do? I actually was a little bit, would I say jealous, if that's the right word? Thiago Silva to Chelsea. That type of deal would have made sense for Liverpool in my eyes. Bring in a steady hand, bring in somebody who's experienced at the latter end of their career, get a year or two out of them and still allow the youngsters to come through. Whether that means somebody goes out on loan to gain experience, we're covered. And right now, we're not covered. I've explored the possibility with you guys before about Fabinho perhaps dropping back in as a makeshift centre-back if needs be. But we still need to go out there and do business in the centre-back area. If I'm being honest with you, we've seen Pep Guardiola take that gamble with Manchester City and it didn't work out, it's fair to say. He tried going without having that cover at centre-back. He tried playing Fernandinho in there and that experiment didn't work out. So maybe there is signs there for Jurgen Klopp that he should go and probably will go and address the centre-back situation. Looking at what we have with the club right now, I don't think there's anybody ready to step up just yet. I do think that Billy Cometio, that Sepp van den Berg and Kiana Hoover all have big futures ahead of them. Kiana Hoover could potentially be going out on loan from what I've read. Billy Cometio and Sepp van den Berg, they're not ready. They're not ready in my opinion to step up now and be that fourth choice centre back. And let's not kid ourselves here. Our centre-backs outside of Virgil van Dijk are a little bit injury-prone at times. Joe Gomez has had a couple of bad injuries that have kept him out for a long time, and Joel Matip has picked up a few as well. So we can't go into the season with 3 senior centre-backs. I think it will be foolish the more I've thought about it. But I want to know what you guys think, and have you seen any genuine links to centre-backs with Liverpool? We spoke about the obvious ones numerous times. We spoke about the Diego Carlos links to Sevilla. I don't believe that there's anything in that because I can't see Liverpool shelling out that much money. The stuff around the guy from Real Betis, whose name I always seem to feckin' forget, they've gone quiet as well. We're not going to go out and get Koulibaly before anybody brings that nonsense up. If we haven't got the money to go and splash it down on Thiago right now, we're certainly not dropping 60 or 70 million on a 29-year-old centre-back, so we can forget about that one. Mondi was the guy from Betis, sorry. Only reason to sell Mane will be for Mbappe. Yeah, the Mane stuff you can file under complete and utter nonsense, by the way. Any £90 million links to Barcelona, you can just crumple that up and throw it in the bin because it's garbage. He has 3 years left on his Liverpool contract, Sadio Mane. I've seen no indication that he wants to leave. In fact, I would imagine that the club are probably going to be entering into negotiations with him over the coming season to extend that contract. Sadio seems very happy at Liverpool. Barca haven't got a pot to piss in at the minute. They're trying to sort out the Lionel Messi situation. They're trying to get Thiago in there, or not Thiago, Gini Wijnaldum in the midfield, if you're to believe Ronald Koeman's interest in the player, which I do. So yeah, Barca, he's not going there at this moment in time, so you can file that under complete garbage. Liverpool won't sell him, especially not for 90 million. 90 million doesn't buy you Sadio Mane's left foot. We're keeping Mane 100%. Absolutely. We're not going to sell any of our front three this summer. It doesn't matter what happens. Now look, if somebody was silly enough to come in and say there's 250 million, maybe the club would consider it, but that ain't going to happen because that money ain't out there this summer. You've seen the club struggling to get the big deals over the line. Even the deal to take Kai Havertz to Chelsea, it's in the bag, everybody knows about it, but there was still a couple of things delaying that deal. Manchester United, one of the biggest, most powerful financial clubs in the world, hasn't got the money or isn't willing to pay the €100 million that Dortmund are asking at this moment in time to sign Jadon Sancho. So who's to indicate that any of the Spanish clubs who, let's be quite frank, are in a summer where they need to offload people off the books are going to be able to drop that kind of money? It's just not true, and anyone who believes it is just away with the fairies. I'm sorry, it's just nonsense. Gnabry to replace Mane one day, said Claire. Again, he's not going to want to move from Bayern Munich. He's rebuilt his whole career there. Bayern Munich are building up a very good young squad. Yes, they've got experience in there, but they still have the likes of Leroy Sané to come in and join the ranks as well. So, unfortunately, from a European perspective, it looks like Bayern Munich are going to be a force to be reckoned with for the foreseeable future. Loads of questions asking, will we get Thiago? Lewis, if you keep spamming the same question, mate, our mods are just going to ban you from the chat, so I'm just giving you a heads up for your own goodness. Right, ladies and gentlemen, ahead of the season, we're going to be shaking up Anfield Agenda FC, our membership. We're going to be adding a few more bits and pieces to it, making it more interactive and giving our members a little bit of something extra as well. If you want to become a member of the channel, it's $4.99 a month. You can do so by clicking on the link in the description or clicking on the blue join button. Right now, for your membership, what you get is the Anfield Agenda badge beside your name. I seen Dara Azizi, by the way, ask a question yesterday. He just got to the red badge and he asked, is that the last badge? At this moment in time, Dara, yes. It goes bronze, silver, gold, then after 6 months it goes red. But we are working on something for the 1 year anniversary for when people are with us as members that long, so keep an eye out for it. You also get access to our exclusive Discord group, which is genuinely where we put in stuff first. It's where we ask questions first, it's where we share information first, it's where we try and get feedback that helps us shape the future of the channel, because we know that people are willing to put their hand in their pocket to support a channel that they can watch for free is genuinely care about us and genuinely have our best intent, and we want to give that right back and help those guys shape the future of the channel, because it's a community based channel. Without your support it doesn't exist. So yeah, if you want to become a member, you know what to do, and you also get all those cool emojis that you see on the screen right now, which are more fun when we get back underway with the watch alongs and stuff, because you've got the clap emojis, the WFMs, the Craig's bald head and the like, as you can see there on the screen. So again, thank you to everyone who has supported us so far. I feel like I talk at 100 miles an hour. When I come off these streams, sometimes I'm absolutely exhausted. Right, what have we got? Billy Hogan, new Liverpool CEO, has said his first directive in the job is to get supporters back inside Anfield. Again, this all leads into the financial aspect of where we are. If Liverpool can't get bums on seats, if Liverpool can't sell season tickets, then the future is uncertain. But it's as uncertain as it is for every club. So this is what Billy Hogan had to say. He said, well, clearly the immediate priority we're all focused on is how we get our supporters back into Anfield. The uncertainty of the current situation with the pandemic is obviously incredibly challenging, both from a business perspective, for every business around the world, but for us clearly as a club. So we're working hard right now. We've obviously got to be guided by the government and working together with all the clubs in the Premier League. So a lot of work is going on behind the scenes in terms of how that's going to work. And I guess in addition to that, we really need to look at continuing to operate the business as we have done. The mantra, as most people know, is that this is about trying to create a sustainable business, a sustainable club. So it's really my job to continue to run the organisation as efficiently as we can to support the team. Now, what do we dissect from this conversation? I want to look at the last part of it, because the part about getting fans inside the stadium, that's something, as he said, that's going on behind the scenes and something that will be told in due course. They'll be guided by the government, and of course they'll be keeping an eye on the OR number and stuff like that. But if we dissect the second half of what Billy Hogan had to say, we start to look into how the club operate as a business. And as he said, the key phrases here for me are sustainable business, sustainable club, and it's clear that we need to run the organisation as efficiently as we can. Now, what does that mean from a transfer business? Well, it means that unless there's money to spend, the owners aren't putting their hand in their pocket. It's as simple as that. That might not be the answer that some people want to hear, and it might not be the answer that a lot of people were hoping for, but hey, it is what it is. At least we're getting honesty there from that regard, and it's always been the case. We've always known that Liverpool are a club that will spend what it makes. The owners won't invest outside of stuff like the new main stand, which of course gave us a relatively interest-free loan. I think it's regarded as interest-free, but I think there was something like 3% put on that loan to cover the cost of inflation, and I believe, from what people have told me, that that's standard in this type of practice. So looking at the owners, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that. I've got to be honest. I want Liverpool to be around for my son, for my grandson, for my great-great-grandson, and I know you guys do as well. So we don't want to ever have a situation where Liverpool are involved in the scenes that we seen before FSG came in and bought the club from those two cowboys. But we also kind of wonder, how the fuck have we got no money? Or seem to have no money? It is baffling. And there's only so long that I think this is such a touchy subject that I almost hesitate to go as far as I want to with it. Everything I'm going to say to you now is purely my opinion. I'm not saying that it is a factual information. I'm just giving you my take on how I see things right now with the owners. Last summer, we all understood that we weren't going to be spending much money. We understood that we had to get our house in order, and we understood that the club needed to just, I won't say balance the books, but we needed to have a quieter summer to allow for future investment, and obviously to allow that squad to fully acclimatise to what Klopp was thinking, and for players to continue to progress. We've seen that progression this season. We went and won the league by a country mile. I've seen the argument put out there that some people are trying to link the owners to say that, well, because we won the league by such a wide margin, there's an argument to be said that Liverpool don't need to go and invest this summer to strengthen the squad. I think that's nonsense, to be honest with you. Gary Neville was even talking earlier on as well, Jamie Carragher, and they were saying, Gary Neville especially, that Thiago coming into Liverpool could be an absolute... I don't want to put words in his mouth because I haven't got the exact quote, but basically saying it could be a game changer or it could be a turning point for Liverpool with regards to the Premier League. That's how important this summer is. Make no bones about it. Clubs are doing business in this summer and Liverpool cannot stand still. We can't. Remember, this is just my opinion. We can't look at Manchester United going out there, signing Donny van de Beek, being interested in Thiago, being interested in Jadon Sancho, making a couple of more additions. We can't look around at Chelsea, and I'm not even going to go through the list of players that Chelsea have signed because it's getting too long and it makes me too upset the more I go through it. We can't look around at Manchester City going out there and spending, I think, 82 million or something like that so far in this window, and our rivals strengthening, Spurs strengthening, Arsenal strengthening, and Liverpool pretty much sitting on their hands at this moment in time. So that's why today, when I heard the journalists and when I heard Ian Doyle and James Pearson, that like leaning in towards the fact that we will be doing business this summer, it made me a lot less stressed. Because I'm not going to lie, I know I come on here and I try and play devil's advocate and I try and weigh up both sides of it, but I'm a fan first and foremost. And my fear, along with everybody else's, was we won the Premier League. That is brilliant. That is something that we've celebrated and will continue to enjoy. But we can't sit on our hands. We need to have a period of dominance, or at least try. Liverpool Football Club is famous for capitalising when we're on top and trying to stay on top. We need to do that this summer. Then the conversation, I suppose, leads to Jurgen Klopp. Has he almost been too good at his job and allowed the owners to maybe get away with not spending as much as they may have had to with other managers? The answer to that is probably yes. Jurgen Klopp has been the best piece of business this football club has done in the past 25 years. Jurgen Klopp has come in and transformed the club from top to bottom. His attitude is infectious. He's so good at his job. He improves players on the pitch, which is important to remember because we do have some good talent at the club that still has a couple more gears left to go through. But he's also a manager that I don't think will take any shit. And for him to be told no for Timo Werner, that worried me. That was warning sign number one for me. I've never been anti-FSG and I probably never will end up anti-FSG. But I do think as fans we do have a right to ask these questions. But they have to be asked in the right way. Going on, putting all this FSG out nonsense, that's crap. That's Mickey Mouse shit. We need to do this in an adult way and have a conversation around it. So for the end of the stream tonight, I want to open up the chat and see what you guys think about where we are at this moment in time and see if you're happy or you believe that we'll do business. Because I'm not going to lie to you. If Liverpool go through on October the 5th and we haven't made any more additions and I look around and I see our competitors having added players, I'm not going to be a happy bunny. And there are many Liverpool fans around the world who won't be fucking happy about it. Let's be honest. That's what I have to say. That's my honest belief on it. I'm willing to be patient, but we're not fools. Put it that way. That's what I would say. We're not idiots as Liverpool fans. We can't keep looking around and seeing other clubs strengthening and hearing great things about Forbes valuing the club at $2 billion and hearing about the revenue from the Champions League and hearing about the television revenue and hearing about record prize money and all this stuff, and then still sitting around going, well, what's going on? Yeah, but we have a really high wage bill. Okay, fair enough. But how come... We've signed a deal with Nike that we all expected Liverpool to go out and probably drop what we class as a marquee signing to launch that Nike kit deal. The global pandemic obviously kind of put a halt to maybe the rollout that Nike would have ideally liked, but that doesn't hide the fact that there's still a whole load of Liverpool shirts being sold, and some estimates reckon that Liverpool could pull in maybe €80 million or £80 million, I'm not sure which one, probably pound, from that sponsorship deal with Nike this season, and that we're set to have another record-breaking shirt sales season. We had 2 in a row, by the way, with New Balance for home shirts, 2 record-breaking seasons. Now, success obviously drives that a lot. Success will bring in new fans from around the world, and the reason that Liverpool teamed up with Nike was to try and break into that Chinese market, as well as obviously the fact that Nike can offer up the likes of LeBron James and other people to help push Liverpool's brand around the world. So where the hell are we still sitting on our hands nickel and diming around €30 million for Thiago or 30 or 40 million quid for Sarr? It's okay being safe and it's okay being sustainable, fair enough, but surely to God, there's 40 or 50 million quid there for the manager to work with this summer. None of us are sitting here calling for Kylian Mbappe. None of us are sitting here even calling for Jadon Sancho this summer, as much as we'd love him. We understand that the club can't do that this summer. And I think most Liverpool fans do understand that fact. When you struggle for Manchester United to be able to put that much money together, a club that basically print money, a club that are right up there with the powerhouses in the world of income with regards to football, how are we doing it? And we're playing catch up still from the days when the Premier League launched with Manchester United with regards to the global reach, with regard to the marketing of the club around the world and stuff like that. So, look, that's my take. I'm going to go over to you guys now for the end of the stream and see how you feel. Spending money doesn't necessarily result in winning. No, that is very true. And Jurgen Klopp has proven that. Jurgen Klopp has proved that with the way he's gone about his business. And it's a very good point. But that doesn't mean he should be punished for being so good. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to get with this. Has he almost overachieved so much so that the owners are maybe going, well, look what he did last season? I don't know. I'm not inside the board to have these conversations. 50, no way, bro. How come we don't get 100 million? Come on, said Vinny. I just don't think that there's realistically any club, Vinny, to have 100 million outside of Chelsea this summer that they can go and drop. Who will be our next signing in your opinion, Craig, if any? Well, there will be signings, Gary. From what I'm very confident that we'll get a couple over the line before the window closes. Who that'll be, honestly, I'm not going to say because I don't know. When I have more information on the Daka situation, I promise you, once I get credible sources on this one, because normally I'll tell you guys I'm not somebody who has any inside information on Liverpool Football Club. I'm not, but I do have some very good links around Europe with regards to journalists and stuff like that we've built up over the couple of years that we've been a channel. Not so much so with the UK based journalists for some reason, but we do have some good links when it comes to European football. So the likes of Daka and stuff, I can kind of reach out and see if I can get some information on. If I get that, I promise you I'll give it to you. If I don't, I won't come on here and make stuff up for the sake of it. Just by Thiago, it's not like we're asking for Messi. I'm with you, man. No argument for me on that one. We've got to go with youngsters as well, Craig, said Joanne. 100% agree, Joanne. And I would have no problem if we moved on Divock Origi this summer and brought in, let's say, a Daka or a Sarr, and we kept Ryan Brewster and we kept Takumi Minamino as our backup three to our front three. I'd be happy enough with that. I really would. The odds are Brewster may go out on loan. He's been linked with Sheffield United. Apparently Jurgen Klopp's an admirer of the way Chris Wilder goes about his business, the way he carries himself, and the way his team plays with the press and stuff. And he maybe thinks, looks like that could be the right spot for Brewster to go on loan. So keep an eye on that situation. And if he does go on loan, then that still means we still have a spot that we need to fill in our attacking lineup. So I think the key here could lie with Origi with regard to the summer from a transfer perspective. It's all gone quiet on Origi. And when I say it's all gone quiet, I mean literally everything has gone quiet on Divock Origi. He was no part in the Austrian training camp. There was all these rumours going around that you know about that I'm not going to add to on the channel because they are just that, rumours. The club said he had a slight knock. The club said that Shaqiri had a slight knock and that's why they weren't taking part. I think there may be more to the Origi situation, and I also think both those guys are available to be sold if the right offers come in. What position do you think we need to improve most? Very good question. Is it Ewan or Iwan? I'm not sure how I pronounce that. Davies, thank you, mate, for that question. I should be saying centre back. That should be the answer. I should be saying to you guys centre back, but forward, attacker. Attacker for me is a must in this window. We can't go into another season hoping and praying that our front three don't pick up an injury. We just can't do it. You look at other clubs and they have options. We don't really have strong enough options. We've got decent options, but not ones that are really going to breathe down Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane's neck and say, mate, I'm here. I get my chance. I'm taking your shirt. I don't see anybody at the club yet who's ready for that. Harvey Elliott, still really young, still has so much time to progress. Curtis Jones is going to be involved this season, no doubt about that from a midfield perspective. And he's going to take Lallana's slot in the first team, and I'm expecting big things from him as well. But yeah, I do understand that one we have youngsters like Joanne said, but they're still a couple of seasons away. They're still not there quite yet. So I suppose that the question for Klopp is to just don't block those kids, but somehow manage to strengthen our first team, and that's the headache I think Kloppo has right now. But attacker is the answer to the question, Mr. Davies, that I would go with regards to the most important player for me, even though it should be saying centre back. A journalist will probably tell you centre back, and they'll probably be right. But going into this window, attacker was the wide forward and left back. They were the two positions that I wanted us to address. We've done the left back one, and I think we've done it very well. I think Kostas Tsimikas looks like a very good player, and him working at Robbo, they seem like the type of lads who will push each other on. So that's great. We've done great business there. Relatively cheap as well with regards to the money we paid for him. We've moved on Lovren, and that has a hole in the centre-back situation. So in theory, I should say centre-back, but I'm greedy. I want another attacker. We need a new centre-back, said Billa. Some United fan just came in and said United forever. Brilliant, mate. You win. Comment of the day. Did you come up with that all on your own? United forever. And ever? Forever, ever? Forever, ever? Forever, ever? I can't be baffled by these type of lads. Brilliant, mate. Well done. You're a fucking hero now. You can go to bed tonight. Your mammy can tuck you in knowing that you did it. You came on to Anfield Agenda and you said United forever. You took us down, mate. We might as well close down the channel. What's the point in going on anymore when I know that there's fans out there saying United forever? How many fucking trophies, mate? How many trophies did you win? Huh? Many trophies? Oh, less than us, because we're massive. We're top of the pile. Most successful club. How about you take your United forever, ram it up your hole, pal, and just go on to talking to United channel. Someone that gives a shit about it. Wish Jurgen would have gone for Saka before he signed the contract at Arsenal. Peter, I was the same. I was praying that we went looking for Saka, but he signed. What did he say? Signed the thing, I think he said, when he signed for them. Also want to let you guys know about a couple of interviews that we're going to have coming up over the next week or so. I can't quite tell you the names yet, but we have some really interesting guests being lined up. We're going to catch up with our good friend Mark over in the United Stand as well before the season kicks off. Mark is going to come on for a bit of a season preview. We're going to discuss the transfer window. We're going to discuss what United have done as well. That's going to be probably middle of next week before the Reds get back into action. I have a couple of journalists that are going to be coming on for interviews as well, so keep an eye out for them. Loads of stuff coming up on the channel, folks. We're getting to be able to get to people now that I never thought we'd be able to. Thankfully, with you guys helping spread the word about the channel, with people finally becoming aware that I'm not just this angry Irish guy that sits here swearing, because a lot of the time people think that that's what I am. People that don't see the shows, people that just see clips, just think I'm this angry fella that sits there swearing and shouting people down. You guys know that that's not really who I am. I've made a point of swearing less over the past month or so. I don't know how long that'll last when the Reds get back underway though, because I probably will be screaming at the television like an idiot. What have we got? Oh, you were talking to John Hamilton, sorry, not me. Craig, get on Goldbridge if possible. Yeah, I was speaking to Mark. Yeah, well, sorry, I speak to him. We were sending a few WhatsApp messages yesterday. Mark is going to come on for a chat. Now, as you can understand, Mark is extremely busy. He's very much in demand. The United Stand has grown massively. They've gone past 800k. They're on the road to 1 million. But we do have a good relationship with Mark and the guys at the United Stand. They've been very helpful to us behind the scenes. And he will be coming on. He will do us that little favour and come on and have a chat about the season. So yeah, look forward to that. I also reached out to me good pal Expressions to see if I can get him on as well. He's a hard man to pin down, Expressions, as you can imagine. He's a man that's always out and about. But I'm going to try and get him on for a chat as well as those couple of journalists that I can't give you their names just yet. If you're not angry, mate, you're just bald. Actually, neither of those things are true. Believe it. Well, I'm probably more angry than I am bald. I actually have a head of hair. I just shave my head because hair makes me feel dirty. There you go. Lately, you only swear at refs, said Liz. I'm practicing, Liz. I'm trying my best. Mark's a good guy, said Harry. He is. Mark is a good lad. How are you and the family? I'm good. Really good. Even everyone, hope it's well. Sorry I'm late, said Hem. It's alright, mate. Let me just recap. Will I recap what we went through tonight, ladies and gentlemen? The big news, I suppose, from our perspective is the bits of information that we've been getting linking Liverpool to Patson Daka of Salzburg. I'm still trying to gather information on this to see quite how credible these links are, and I'm even right now just checking and refreshing my messages on Instagram, on Twitter and on a few other places just to try and see if I get some answers on the questions that I've asked. But keep an eye on that situation. It makes sense if you think about it. Obviously he's the right profile of player, similar to Sarr, maybe for a bit less money, and they're probably both under consideration, so just do keep an eye on it, and I promise I'll bring you more as I get it on that one. The Thiago stuff has gone quite quiet. We know that it's just a matter of who blinks first between Liverpool, Bayern and Barca, with that little kind of mini love triangle there, if you want to call it that. We spoke about Billy Hogan and him saying that his first real job as CEO is to start getting fans back inside the stadium and how they're going to work about that. And of course, I started off the stream by reminding you guys that it was this day back in 1892 that Liverpool played their first ever game, which was a 7-1 victory over Rotherham Town. That's pretty much where we were tonight, folks. And tomorrow I will be back as well. What else we got coming up this week? Nothing much really. It's international week, so it's just going to be transfer gossip and the usual stories. Do me a favour, folks, before you head off. If you've enjoyed tonight's stream, please do hit the subscribe button, drop a like on the stream as well. Anything else that you guys want to talk about, if you have it, please put it in the comment section. Most importantly though, we're going to be more lively on the Flick Chat app. If you don't know what the Flick Chat app is, just download it and give it a try. It's pretty self-explanatory. For those of you that have already downloaded the app and are using it, if you look in the bottom right hand corner when you're in the chat, you'll see this cool little dude with sunglasses on, a little emoji looking fella. Click on him and that'll bring up a whole host of other emojis. They're actually called cheers or cheer pixels. Everybody that downloads the app gets 2 free cheer pixels, but the only thing that you can do with them is use them to tip us. So you get 2 of those for free, and if you tip us with them, each one of those that you use, we get 25 cents for. You get 2 of them, so basically everyone that uses that app has 50 cents that they can tip us for free. So if you are over there, please just bang them out, just throw them into the chat just for the sake of it. Yeah, look, I hope to see you guys over there. I'm going to be on the Flick Chat app a little bit later on tonight as well. Bit of a heads up on Hot Mic. You guys have asked me if we're going to be back on Hot Mic. I will have a more in-depth information or in-depth answer as soon as I finish this call. I'm going on, or this stream, I'm going on to a call with the founder of Hot Mic, and we're going to be discussing Hot Mic moving forward and stuff like that. Anfield Agenda and a few other people were actually featured on an interview that the guy that founded Hot Mic did with CNBC in America that he sent me a link for, which was really cool. It was good to see my little bald head on an American news network. So there is real money behind the Hot Mic app, as I've spoken about before. Peter Thiel is one of the investors in Hot Mic. And again, with the Flick Chat app, these are things that are going to be around for the long term. So we're trying to form good working relationships with these guys so we can bring you the best content that we can. So again, wish us well, because I'm going to have a very important call after this stream. But yeah, look, ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure. I really appreciate your time as always. Being subscribed since 2K, Craig. Keep up the good work, mate. You're going far, said Nathan. Man, appreciate it. But without you guys, we wouldn't be where we are. We wouldn't continue to grow. You know that. I know that. It's a community channel on here. Again, do hit that subscribe button. We want to hit 50k as soon as we can. Give us a thumbs up as well. Let your friends know about Anfield Agenda. Invite them over to the Flick Chat app. Share the link with as many people as you can. Lash it on social media. Lash it on Facebook. Lash it on Instagram. We want the family to grow. I'll be on there later on. Looking forward to having a chat with you guys. Oh, Kim, how lovely. Thank you so much. Kim just sent us a €20 super chat right at the end of the stream. You absolute legend. Didn't even put a comment in. Well, Kim, let me say thank you on behalf of all of us, mate. Those little bits and pieces. I say little. €20 certainly isn't little. That means a lot to us, Kim. Thank you from myself and Connor. Thank you very much. Look, ladies and gents, I'll be back tomorrow, 8:30. I'll hopefully have more stuff on Dakar to bring you. So make sure you've got your notifications turned on. Let everyone know about us. Spam the world with Anfield Agenda, because we ain't going anywhere. We're here as a community and we're going to take over. Love you guys to bits. Thank you for your support as always. I'll chat to you tomorrow.